This week, whispers from the front lines of the Ukraine war have turned into screams. Gruesome secrets uncovered by Russia's elite adrenochrome task force, a unit handpicked by Putin himself. Mass graves, shallow pits filled with the broken bodies of children, their fragile frames marked by the unmistakable scars of adrenochroming, ritual cuts, hollowed eyes, and signs of torment no human should endure. Even the hardened soldiers of Putin's elite crew found themselves retching at the sight. One task force member called it a slaughterhouse for innocents. And the videos they smuggled out? We have to warn you in advance, they're not for the faint of heart. But the story doesn't end in the blood-soaked killing fields of backwards Ukraine. It stretches far beyond Europe, across oceans and borders, to a frozen enigma, Greenland. Stick with us, because what the Russians are now saying is buried under the ice could bring the elite's whole house of cards crashing down. Before we dive in, join the TPV free speech community over on Soju. Soju is a digital space where ideas and information can take place without any annoying algorithms or restrictive rules getting in the way of free expression. This week, the mainstream media kicked into overdrive, churning out bold-faced fake news and propaganda. The latest narrative? Convincing the world that Putin and Russia are on the brink of declaring war on the US over, wait for it, Greenland. But over in the Kremlin, sources say they were laughing at these fake news stories. In fact, the real story is quite the opposite. Putin has been quietly cheering Trump on, encouraging him to stake a claim on Greenland for the US. Why? Putin believes in peace through strength, and a strong US is essential to world peace. There are other reasons too, more complicated and disturbing reasons, which we'll get into in a moment. On Friday, Putin dropped a bombshell that left the US media scrambling. He gave a speech and publicly threw his full support behind Trump's push to bring Greenland into the American fold, shattering the fear-mongering tales spun by the mainstream press in one swift move. Of course, the mainstream media is still missing the point.
It would be a great mistake to believe that this is just some eccentric talk of the new American administration. Nothing of the kind, in fact. Let me remind you that by 1869, the American papers laughed at the purchase of Alaska. The deal was called a folly.
Russian intel claims it's no coincidence. They say Greenland's sprawling, desolate shores are not just a source of critical minerals and a jumping-off point for emerging trade routes to the north. They also hide the nerve center of a global child trafficking hub, a shadowy relay point funneling victims from Europe's darkest corners to the glittering elite playgrounds of Washington, D.C. and Hollywood. As far as Putin is concerned, Greenland, part of the world's lost untamed frontier, a rugged remnant of the Wild West, must be brought to heel. Putin's response comes as no surprise when you think about what unfolds in the world's untamed frontiers. Consider the most lucrative enterprises on the planet, the kind thriving in the lawless backwoods of Ukraine. We're talking about child trafficking, which has now claimed the title of the world's most profitable criminal trade by a staggering margin. And Putin is at the forefront of the fight against this evil trade. Russian troops, alongside operatives from Putin's adrenochrome task force, have unearthed nightmarish scenes in recent days. Sprawling mass graves filled with the broken bodies of children, their pallid skin marked by unmistakable scars of blood harvesting and ritualistic torment. The air hangs heavy with the stench of death, a grim testament to an operation that's allegedly spiraled beyond control. Make no mistake, the perpetrators of these crimes are desperate to keep this information under wraps. Soldiers of the Russian Special Forces Unit Akhmat and the war reporter Patrick Lancaster were targeted by drone, with the Americans shocked that despite the press sign clearly identifying him as a journalist, the Ukrainian drone was trying to silence him for good.
Oh shit! We're living!
They are desperate to stop this information from making it out. reports from the front lines reveal a grisly trade flooding the black market. Leather boots, crafted from the flayed skin of these young victims. In Western circles, collectors with deep pockets, some say depraved elites, are shelling out tens of thousands for a pair. The most coveted? Boots stitched from the delicate, unblemished faces of children, with prices soaring past six figures for the finest craftsmanship. Each step taken in these boots represents a sickening echo of stolen lives.
People in the world wear red shoes for a reason, and it has nothing to do with style. Leather shoes are made from skin. We all know this. But red shoes, these aren't just any leather. No, they're crafted from something far more exclusive. They say it makes the softest leather in the world. The price for these shoes, let's just say, it's not just measured in dollars. You've seen them, bright, bold, almost out of place. Red shoes on billionaires, politicians, Hollywood elites. You think it's just fashion? No, it's a symbol, a mark, something only the initiated understand. Same with the red carpet they walk on. And if you think that sounds insane, remember, Nike already introduced this idea to the mainstream. Yeah, they literally made sneakers infused with real inner liquids, a major company mass marketing the concept. And who do you think wore these shoes the most? Who was the target demographic? But this goes deeper. There's actual artwork, paintings, tapestries, showing people wearing red shoes against their will. Ever wondered why? Because red shoes don't just symbolize status. They tell a story, but only to those who can read the symbolism. And the red carpet, think about it, the biggest celebrities, the most powerful figures in entertainment, all walking down a red carpet. And what do they always ask each other? Who are you wearing? That's not an accident. It's ritualistic, a knowing nod to something deeper. Because certain ultra-luxury brands tailor-make clothing infused with real organic materials, if you know what I mean.
And then there's the soap, rendered from the fat of the slain. These bars are fetching obscene sums among VIPs in Europe and the US. Creamy, pale, and faintly scented with something unplaceable. They've become the ultimate status symbol for the bathrooms of the powerful, a twisted luxury born from unimaginable cruelty. The elite, it's whispered, now wash their hands in the essence of innocence, as if to cleanse their own sins. Recent breakthroughs in Ukraine, led by Putin's adrenochrome task force, have brought us closer than ever to dismantling the horrific trade in children's bodies once and for all. A soldier from the task force reports that major supply chains have been disrupted, and efforts are underway to shut down critical routes, including Greenland. Stay tuned for the details, right after this important message from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is pillsforever.com. If you think Big Pharma have your best interests at heart, think again. Under Biden, the price of medicine in America has skyrocketed, and there are certain medicines Big Pharma don't want you to know about. That's why I've partnered with pillsforever.com. All of their FDA-approved medicines are the cheapest you'll find anywhere. More importantly, you can order medicines that Big Pharma don't want you to have, such as ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and fenbendazole. Speaking of fenbendazole, not only does it get rid of parasites that live inside your body, there have been studies that show fenbendazole can help with cancer. Listen to this testimony of Joe Tippins, a cancer survivor, thanks to fenbendazole.
2 years ago, Joe Tippins says he was told to go home, call hospice, and say his goodbyes. The doctors were unanimous. He was going to die of small cell lung cancer.
Once that kind of cancer goes that far afield, the odds of survival are less than 1%, and the median life expectancy is 3 months.
Tippins says he got a tip, not from a pharmacist, but a veterinarian. And in his desperation, he turned from people medicine to dog medicine. Specifically, fenbendazole.
My insurance company spent $1.2 million on me with traditional means before I switched to a $5 a week medicine that actually saved me.
Get 15% off using coupon code People's Voice at the checkout. Please click the link below this video to take advantage of this fantastic offer.